lot of people that are retiring and concerned about what the investment returns may be in those critical first 10 years of retirement are deciding to move overseas. Maybe they rent their house out here, and in their first 10 years or so of retirement, they move to a place like Central America and then come back maybe 10 years later, back into their home, maybe get closer to the kids and family members. But what an interesting idea. Here to share some ideas on making investments outside the country and possibly living there as well. Our good friend Craig Colley is on the line. Hello, Craig. How you doing?
Hey, Ray. I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. You know, I'm very impressed that Alex Wilson is on the plane to New Orleans, and he's going to be at the New Orleans Investment Conference. I actually spoke at that some years back. It was an interesting conference. But I understand Charles Krauthammer's there, James Rickards, Mark Stein, Doug Casey, a lot of really big time guys. And Rickards, for example, is huge when it comes to investing in farmland and timber and so forth. Have you read his book, The Death of Money?
I have not yet.
Well, I would highly recommend it because he is anticipating a calamity the likes of which we have never experienced in our lifetime. He talks about the potential deflation that comes, and then that's followed by a hyperinflation. I don't know that if it's going to happen. He was a former CIA guy. He's a really smart guy, hedge fund manager. But if it does, farmland, he says, and what you focus on, timber, etc., is something resilient enough to wade through that potential crisis.
Yeah, here, I've been with Precious Timber for many years, and it was a client first before we moved into this space of farmland. We started in the real estate area, and really it's still a real estate transaction where you own the land, you own the trees, and we grow them and manage them for you. But for people that are concerned about the credit default crisis is brewing, the potential for another stock market and real estate crash, how do you protect your wealth from these cycles? Well, one way that we do it is creating wealth protection and preservation, which include loss avoidance assets like timberland. When timber's in the ground, it doesn't care what happens with the market. It doesn't care what happens with traditional real estate. It doesn't care about politics or war. It just keeps growing. And that's the beauty of it. And in the Central America region, which you're going to see in just a couple of weeks with your group, you're going to find out firsthand what a beautiful area it is, but how the stars have just aligned in that area, providing the perfect climate and environment to grow what we are growing there, and diversification of your portfolio at the same time, along with helping the local region and the environmental impacts of what we're creating. So it's a win-win situation with literally an in-ground hard asset that's growing 6 to 8% on an annual basis, no matter what happens with the rest of the world.
Now, you're talking obviously about an investment in timberland. What about coconuts?
Well, coconuts is similar. I always compare it to an annuity if people are more familiar with in a traditional product where you fund it with the principal and it generates income stream for the policy, however you design your policy for your annuity. Coconut tree is very similar, that it starts creating income after the fourth, fifth, or sixth year. Sixth year, it's in full production. And after that, it just generates an income stream for the next 40 or 50 or 60 years, because that's the life of a coconut tree, where annuities, none of them go that long. And that's the beautiful part about the coconut. And plus, it has a global demand that's increasing by 2 to 4% every year. So it's another win-win situation. And a lot of our clients do a partnership of both. They do timber and coconuts. Timber for more of a long-term passive, really more of a boring wait. You just wait for it to grow, and it matures, and it makes money at harvest time. And the coconut produces income much sooner if you want a revenue stream of some sort.
One of the things we're going to be doing the middle of November, the 14th through the 16th, is we're actually going to do a discovery tour with Alex and his partner Ken, and they're going to be taking us around, showing us real estate. There's some fantastic real estate opportunities down there, and obviously, as I said, there's a lot of expats that are already down in Central America. We're actually touring Nicaragua and going to check out his timber farms as well as his coconut tree farms. I've been fascinated by coconuts. As you said, it's sort of like an annuity. I talked earlier about individuals interested in buying a passive business. Would you say that sort of farmland would be more like owning a passive franchise, that sort of thing?
It is exactly that. A good example is some of our clients that have invested in more traditional real estate. Say they bought an apartment building or even homes to sublet out, and then they have all the other issues that come along with it: the property management, tenants problems, maintenance, and so on. So they're actively involved with their investment, which was supposed to be passive. And they change over to do what we do, and they ask, well, what do I have to do? And I said, how's nothing? Because the trees just grow. We take care of every aspect for you. And many of our clients don't even go and visit the region, but many do, and some people who are on the fence. And I would address the people who are accredited investors on the fence to take a close look at this by year end, because we only have a few months left to plant this year, because there is a planting season for timber. And this is something you want to seriously look at to allocate some of your portfolio this year, because no one knows what's coming in the future, but traditionally we know what to expect from what's happened in the past. So being historians, sometimes that helps us to predict what our futures may be. I also want to mention that I will be at Financial Fest in Arizona on November 14th, speaking in two different seminar settings at 9 a.m. and 2 p.m., talking about why alternative agriculture today. That's the theme of my discussion, and that is something for people in the Phoenix area to come in and check us out and meet the other folks that I'll have with me. We'll have a booth set up there as well. We're a gold sponsor of the event. And anybody who wants to get a hold of me in the meantime can call us at 855-888-6288 or just email me at info@precioustimber.com.
That's right. And if you want information on the Discovery Tour, info@precioustimber.com. I've been quite impressed with Kevin Bird, who's been following up with me on the guest list, and we've got a nice group of folks going down, but we still have a few seats left. Expenses are covered, the tour is covered, the meals are covered, but of course you have to get there and pay for your hotel bill. But it's going to be a really, really fun trip. You do have to be an accredited investor for this. This is not for everyone. Certainly not for everyone. It's not a routine investment. It's something that you must discover first, and then do your own due diligence, have your own advisors check it out with you, and then make your decision, yay or nay. But there's no selling going on down in Nicaragua in the middle of the month of November. We're just going to have a blast and learn about it. I was mentioning earlier, Craig, about the numbers of expats that are down there. It's growing by leaps and bounds, and I understand the Chinese are building a huge canal through Nicaragua. Is the timing looking pretty good for the acquisition of land?
That's one of those things that if it does happen, the ground has been broken on it, and our understanding is that it's 5 or 6 years out. If that does happen, and it's not necessary for the success of what we're doing there, but if it does, it'll be frosting on the cake, because the point of export will literally go through the region where we have our plantations. So we're obviously hoping, and from the commerce and the real estate values that will generate just in the area because of canal of that size and all the activity that will bring to the region, it'll be a huge bonus. That's why the time is now for people. I know you've got a lot of listeners who have been hearing this message for sometimes years before they get involved, and now is the time, because as values increase, as costs increase, it all is going to happen. Still, it is a very, very reasonable entrance investment to make, and the back end is just massive. I'm really excited about it, because I know the potential that exists, and I know a lot of people, and I was one of those people. I looked at it first. I've been a client for 15 years of Alex and Ken. Started out in a different area, but they brought me into the company a few years back to help them promote this, because I'm so excited about the potential and the obviously back end returns of it.
I'm excited about the beach, if you want to know the truth. I understand.
I took my fiancée down and proposed to her at one of the beaches
I was just going to ask you about that. Which beach did you get on your hands and knees for?
Well, it was actually, I took her out to the beach, and I was on my knees on a little bit of lava rock. So I was waiting for her to say yes, and she finally did. But it was a beach just about 2 or 3 coves north of San Juan del Sur, where you'll be spending your Saturday night there. So
I'm looking forward to it.
Just a gorgeous region.
I'm looking forward to it. Craig Colley. Hey, thank you, Craig, so much. info@precioustimber.com. Shoot him an email. Just talk to this guy. He's a former financial advisor, and knows all that other stuff too.
I'm not a former financial advisor. I'm an insurance broker.
Okay, sorry about that.
I'm not giving any investment advice, but
no, and we certainly wouldn't want you to. but you do know about how annuities work and all that stuff, and it may be helpful that you can do the analogy between the income from an annuity and the income, the potential income, where you are.
Absolutely.
Craig Colley, 855-888-6288, 855-888-6288. Thank you, Craig. Do appreciate it.
Thank you, Ray. Take care. Have a great trip.
You too. Bye-bye.
Show is brought to you by Madeiras Futuro and is for informational purposes only. It is not intended to sell securities nor give legal, tax, or investment advice. There are many risks associated with investment in agricultural products, including the loss of principal. Private placements in agricultural products are available only to accredited or qualified investors. Madeiras Futuro is not endorsed by this network, the local stations, or the talk show hosts.